Hello. It's really quiet in here today. Hey, everybody. It's the Great Northern Sex Cast. Kelly Guest here along with
Megan Vaughn. Hello.
And that's it. That's all we got. Normally, we are a packed house of 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's a gruesome twosome today.
Yeah, it really is. But you happen to be one of my very favorite people. So it's good to have you here. And let's explain. I'll let you do it because you have such extensive phlegm knowledge. Why it's just the two of us.
Well, unfortunately, Colleen had another trip to the hospital this weekend, thinking some maybe asthmatic now. So I don't know, but this morning, you guys would not want to hear her.
Is it really gravelly and bad?
Oh, it's so gross. And then she likes to run around the office like, look at my phlegm, look at my phlegm. She's the queen of medical TMI. We love her for it, but you guys don't want to hear it.
When you work in a place where dildos and other such things line the walls, oversharing, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's kind of second nature.
The lines blur.
It's like one bodily fluid's just like the other, right?
I swear to God. Well, listen, we send a shout out to our fearless leader, Colleen. We miss you today. We certainly hope that you are going to feel better and that you get this dialed in so that you can be back with us because honestly, there does need to be at least one grown up in the room. And I won't own that.
Yeah, we're in trouble if that's me today.
Oh, yeah. So, very well. Well, we've got, boy, there's a lot of stuff going on. But there's something that we haven't done in a long time. And I'm just going to take a couple minutes and put you on the spot, Meg, because it's been a really long time since we've talked about what everybody's roles are around here. Okay. So everybody knows that the Great Northern Sex Cast is sponsored by Fantasy Gifts. And we sort of touch on and remind people of the mission of the show all the time. But what I don't think a lot of you guys realize is who the characters are and what they really do every day. So would you tell everybody what your job is and like your crazy role? Because you do a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so I am first and foremost, I guess, a district manager, Fantasy Gifts. Actually, interestingly enough, I'm in the process of doing a few store swappings with Michael, a fellow podcastian who is the other district manager. Yep. So actually, as of Monday, I will be managing 5 of the Fantasy Gifts locations, and he'll be taking on the other 4. And then I also do a lot of the social media, run the Fantasy Gifts Facebook page, and then there's a Fantasy Gifts page. Each location has its own Facebook page, so feel free to like all 9, as well as running the Twitter and the Great Northern Sexcast Facebook page and Twitter as well.
Okay. You are a busy human. And see, the thing that people don't realize is Megan looks about 12. And you actually are about 12, aren't you?
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
No, wait. No, I'm at least 18.
Right. Yeah, but you're not even 30. And, right?
I am. I'm 32.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
See, you look 12. But you've been with Fantasy Gifts for how long again?
Good decade.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
like you're kind of growing up there professionally, like Colleen did.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So you might be running the joint pretty, someday. Who knows? Wow, that's interesting. So yeah, well, thanks for doing that. Because I think a lot of times people just go, who are these nutballs that come in and talk about this stuff every week? So we've been talking about Susan Sarandon came up. Were you here the last time we talked about Susan Sarandon?
I was, in her cleavage, I believe. That was all a buzz.
Somebody gave her crap about what she wore to an awards show. And when I looked it up, I thought she looked lovely. Mm-hmm. She's made the news again for her wardrobe choice on the red carpet at the I think it was Tribeca Film Festival. Guess what it was this time? She got complimented for having the nerve and the common sense to wear flats. I thought that was pretty good. And it's like, okay, so one minute she's getting shit for being, a sexy semi-senior citizen because she's up there,
right?
For, cleavage. And now she's being lauded for her sensible shoes. She probably sits there and was like, "Is that all you fucking people have to do?"
Right. I think that's why that Ask Her More hashtag started, because that's apparently all we can talk about when it comes to female celebrities. Like, either look good or not good enough, or you look too good. Because I think she's trapped, because it's like, if she wore something matronly, everyone would be like, "Oh, you're not that old. You don't need to look so frumpy or matronly.
Or you're giving up."
Right. So then she's sexy, and suddenly, "Oh, you can't be sexy. That's old person cleavage. Oh my God."
Yeah. It's funny. I was flipping channels on Sunday and I watched part of the movie Notting Hill. Have you ever seen that?
No, I hate romantic comedies.
Oh my God. Oh, that's right. It doesn't have enough gore or violence for you.
Right. Shaun of the Dead. I'm okay with that one.
Oh God. Well, okay. Well, for the rest of you who aren't quite so edgy as Megan, there was a scene in there where Julia Roberts, is talking to Hugh Grant, and she talks about the fame thing not really being real, because she plays a star in the movie, and it was kind of an interesting scene, and it really did get me thinking that it isn't. It really isn't. At the end of the day, they have the same number of orifices and do the same things in and out of them that we do.
Right. Everybody poops, even celebrities.
See?
That's the whole "I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy" thing.
Yeah,
right?
but it was before that when she talks about the fame. I know that's
all. That's all I know.
That was a pretty barfy line. I'll own the fact that was a pretty damn barfy line. Moving on, because now I'm embarrassed. We do the Great Northern Sexcast news, and boy, I got some well, I always find interesting stuff, or else I wouldn't bring it. But I got really tickled a few years ago in Vegas when I went, and they have the people that dress up as, like, this one was Winnie the Pooh, and it was like he was sitting there all dirty and passed out with an empty, like, giant thing of vodka, so it was like Winnie the Pooh hits the skids, and you take pictures with them and then you tip them, and whatever. Lots of people make their living that way, and New York City's no exception. So one guy who apparently makes his living giving free hugs, just let that sink in for just a second. Okay. Didn't get a tip. And so he punched the shit out of this lady.
Oh my
God.
And
sent her to the emergency room with eye damage and other minor injuries. He is now the guest of the NYPD, facing assault and robbery charges.
That is insane.
Bitter much?
Yeah. I'm guessing perhaps he's a little angry because his choices led to his career of asking for money on the streets of New York, but you can't demand money.
Says he took her a free hug and didn't tip him, and she said he jumped into a picture that I was taking, and so I hugged him.
Sure, yeah. And he says free hugs. I mean, really, he should also be charged with false advertising.
Thank you. Great minds. Okay, so there's no small shortage of pet love in this group of people. Colleen is insane about her cats, and I'm insane about my dogs, and we all like the furry creatures, even though Liz, periodically gets upset at mallards. I saw a gay mallard couple this morning at the bank.
Oh, yeah? Making a deposit? Or?
They were hanging out. And I asked the lady in the drive-thru, I'm like, "Hey, there's a duck over there." And she goes, "Does he stop by often?" She goes, "No, there's two. Look." And the other one, I'm like, "Oh my God." But they were hanging out two drakes. And you don't see that. I'm like, "Oh my, same sex. I wonder if they're trying to use the girls' restroom." Just asking. But anyway, so we love animals around here. There's two, believe it or not, in 1 week, when you find two bison stories, you have to bring it up. It's just weird. Right? Mm-hmm. So the first one involves a Texas woman looking for a home for her house broken, 8-year-old bison. House broken. Just ruminate on that for just a second. His name is Bullet. Yeah. He's part of the family, and he comes in the house. He walks the halls, and she'll go up and watch the fish tank for a little while, doesn't mess anything up, and doesn't knock things over. And she's never gone potty in the house either. She needs a better retirement. So they put up a Craigslist ad, but they took it down. So I don't know if they're having second thoughts or if somebody is just like, really, seriously. But yeah, housebroken bison.
They're so big. They are so flippin' big. That is insane.
Yeah.
You would think it'd be like a bull in a china shop, essentially, like to have something that size wandering around your house.
What happens? What was the conversation, or what was the chain of events that led up to thinking it's a good idea to let the bison in the house in the first place?
Right.
That very first time. How'd they get there?
Yeah, and because I imagine too, there was a learning curve process and the state that their house was in while it was learning to not take giant bison-sized shits all over the place.
Okay, this one's even better. I saw a video of this, and I sent you the link, so maybe you could even put the picture up. It's classic. Yeah, have you ever been to Yellowstone National Park?
I have not. No.
Okay. Well, it's pretty neat. Okay. But this couple saw a baby bison, and still not a tiny thing. They thought it looked cold, so they loaded it into their SUV. And it appears from the photo that I saw that they have like a shoulder seat belt around them as well.
Keep it safe, right?
Sure, right? Because, if you get pulled over with your bison unbuckled, that could be a fucking heinous fine. I would not want to know even what that would be. So they pulled up to the ranger station with the animal there. And the person quoted in the news story that I found was a teacher bringing a group of fifth graders on a field trip there. And she's going, yeah, absolutely. They were right there. And she said, I actually think that they believed they were doing a service to help the calf. They got a ticket. The animal was put back. And the bison expert said the baby might not have been healthy and may have been abandoned by its mother, or else it wouldn't have been so easily caught. From 3 days old. Now go back to the house story and just let this one sink in. They can run up to 30 miles per hour.
Wow.
They're not aerodynamic looking to me.
No, they are not. But I suppose they're all muscle.
Yeah.
Just huge slabs of muscle. Did you hear the ultimate follow-up to this story?
No.
It's not good.
Did the bison die?
The herd rejected it, and they ended up putting the baby bison down.
Thanks, Meg. Happy Tuesday to you, too.
I'm sorry. When you started talking, I was like, oh, no, it's the sad death one.
You know what, though? If he can't make it in the wild,
you can't.
Maybe he could have been a house bison, though.
That's true.
Fuck.
Why? They should have given him out to some.
Yeah.
Put him out on Craigslist again.
What the fuck? Okay. So, another reality show, a reality competition show, The Sex Factor.
Ooh.
It's a $1 million competition to be America's next top porn star. How has it taken this long for this to be thought up?
Oh, wow. I'm sure it was thought up years ago, but they had to wait until
they saved
the
up $1
rules
million.
could catch up. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, because I couldn't imagine 5 years ago this being on air.
On TV. It's online. So it's going to be on that fabulous site, xhamster.com.
Oh, okay. Right.
And they're the ones that wouldn't let North Carolina have porn. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that blocked out all IPs from North Carolina.
Yeah, although it turns out they didn't. That was a lie. They actually, what they did.
Was it a publicity stunt, Megan?
It was.
Oh my
I go crazy. I know. Yeah, what they did is if you search for tranny porn, some message popped up that essentially made fun of you for searching for tranny porn, but then they could get it anyways.
Oh. Yeah, but you're not in North Carolina.
No, in North Carolina.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay. All right.
Yeah, they duped us.
Marty. Well, get this. So this show is going to be called The Sex Factor, and it's going to be actually 2 days, Thursday. It debuts May 19th at xhamster.com, and there's going to be 10 episodes, and one man and one woman will each win $1 million and the right to officially declare themselves a porn star. And so they're going to be judged by, these are names a lot of our people would know, Tori Black, Remy LaCroix, Lexi Bell, Asa Akira, and Kieran Lee.
I love Asa. She's super
Oh, is it
cool.
Asa?
Yeah.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Kieran Lee, by the way, he has his penis insured for $1 million.
Nice.
I would too, right?
Him and someone's legs. I don't remember who.
Oh, yeah. Well, Madonna had her tits insured by Lloyd's of London at one point too.
Why does she need insurance? She's always got those giant metal bras. I think you keep it pretty safe.
I would think so. They're talking about how American Idol, like the audition episodes, were often the most entertaining. So they are going to be showing some of that.
I kind of want to see this. This is super fascinating. And then I wonder if each week it's like, okay, well, here's your double penetration challenge. And this week we're going to cover facials, and who can ever like make the best face when getting it covered in cum, you win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really, because I do like the reality shows that I watch are the sort of, you have a skill in your competing shows.
Yep.
I like Face Off and Skin Wars with the body paint
Yep.
and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, this is up my alley.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's pretty damn funny. And I mean, seriously, how in God's name are they going to say who fucks better than somebody else?
Right.
Well, I mean, I suppose some people could bumble, but you know, I mean, it's kind of hard.
It's really relative because, you know, I have people who are like, well, this particular, like everyone loves Jessie Jane. She's a really popular porn star.
Okay.
I find her so annoying. I can never watch a movie with her. She sounds like she's a chihuahua getting strangled. Like, ooh, oh, meow, woo. And I'm like, nobody sounds like that. Stop it. So I'm wondering, like, you know, are the people who are more theatrical going to get better grades than those who are where it's actually more realistic? Because that's what I would want to watch.
And what are acting skills anyway?
Right. Yeah, I mean, because then you have to, like, are they going to do a couple scenes in case they end up in a parody and they have to actually try to speak words, you know?
Could add a layer of difficulty.
Right. The prize is kind of weird to say, okay, you win. I mean, obviously $1 million. That's great. That's way better than Drag Race. RuPaul needs to up his game a little bit. But to say, okay, now you're a porn star. I'm surprised they're not. I suppose since it's an online company, they're not able to say, okay, you win $1 million and a contract with like Wicked Pictures or something.
Well, you know what? I bet you, if you and I find this interesting, don't you bet that the companies are going to say, look, somebody's doing our work, a lot of our work for us, and developing some new talent. Seriously, why wouldn't they be watching?
Sure.
So that might in fact happen. And, well, we wish them all luck.
Yeah.
We wish them all fuck. We wish them very good fuck. Yeah. So, this one freaks me out on so many levels. This next one in the Great Northern Sex Cast News, and so many of the stories I find do. There is a woman in India. Have you heard about the 70-year-old woman that gave birth?
No.
Yeah. She has, and actually there's conflicting reports, 70 or 72. Okay. They did in vitro. And the fact that she could even carry it and have it, but she's also breastfeeding. This baby, Arman Singh, was born on April 19th, so he's almost a month old. And she and her husband, and this part is, you know, a little bit heartening. They've been trying for 46 years.
Oh, wow.
And praying and doing everything. And you know what? I would never make fun of somebody that she wanted to give birth to her own baby. That was the experience on the planet that she wanted to have. Mm-hmm. And I realize I've met people, although I cannot in any way, shape, or form relate to this, who get, like, if they find out that they are infertile or they're challenged reproductively or whatever, I mean, they really do go into some really freaky stuff. It's like, it's a chip that I don't have. So I don't make fun of that stuff because it's real. I mean,
right,
and I've known people. Then you could sit here and look at this and say, wow, should you really be bringing a kid in the world at 70?
I'm kind of surprised that there's not an age limit for them to be performing the fertilization, because I'm imagining that this is something like a doctor. Mm-hmm. She went to a doctor and they did a procedure. You'd think there would be, just because
an ethical question,
right? For the safety of the mom and the baby alone, like the older you are, the riskier pregnancies are, and obviously it's awesome that it turned out, you know, everyone's happy and healthy. But I'm a little surprised on the medical side that they would do this.
Yeah, for sure. They paid, this is in India, by the way, and they paid the US dollar equivalent of about $14,500. And a lot of people said, hey, you're too old. Others said, why won't you adopt a needy child? And she said she didn't want to. She couldn't guarantee her own self that she would love it as her own. And she wanted to give birth. So she did. Wow. So I hope that this kid has some parents for a while in his life, you know, because that's the question.
Or a good family support system for when.
Yeah, because, you know.
It's hard to judge, but I think it would be knowing that you would almost certainly miss all of the milestones of your child's life.
Yeah, I mean, my ex-husband, this is funny stuff. I mean, my ex-husband is actually a skosh younger than I am. And at, 49 years old, no, 48 years old. I forgot how old I was for a minute. He just turned 48, and 3 days before his 48th birthday, his now wife gave birth to their twins from in vitro. So he was a little nervous about I mean, he's having a riot with it, and everything's fine. They were a teeny bit premature, but whatever. And he's having fun, but he does talk about that. He's like, wow, I hope I wasn't irresponsible at 48. And I'm like, come on, man. I mean, there's rock stars that are still Mick Jagger. What
Right,
the fuck?
right.
You're fine. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Have you heard of the Naked Magic Show?
No, but I'm intrigued.
Oh, you should
How?
be.
Wow. How do you do sleight of hand? That
Right?
there's no place to hide anything.
See?
Pull a rabbit out of your asshole.
And I can't dispute that may be the case. These guys are from, of course, Australia. I gotta go there. Those people just seem like a fucking hoot.
Yep.
They,
But everything wants to kill you, so
Yeah.
I'd rather have the Australians come to me,
Yeah.
minus all their giant venomous
because we're afraid
creatures.
We are afraid of Australian, the things that are all trying to kill you. They're plants and flora, fauna, and animals. Yeah, these two guys are named Christopher Wayne and Magic Mike Tyler. And they describe their show as a first Tinder date. You're guaranteed that we will get naked by the end of the evening. And he said everybody has a cheeky side. Bah. It's normally bottled up, but the lid is screwed on tighter than others. So they're talking about the audience, and we like to open up on stage. And boy, do they ever. And I saw some pictures, and it's worth seeing. But one fan, after seeing this show, was like, yeah, well, it was good, but I thought they were going to perform sex acts on stage.
Well, I can make my penis disappear repeatedly.
Oh, look, there it is. There it is. Oop, it's gone. It's here. It's back. Ooh.
Abracadabra.
Woo! Oh, that's funny stuff.
That's just those were silly expectations.
Yeah, those were pretty bad. I have to collect myself so I can see what the next story is. Oh, yeah. So
That's a good sign.
Yeah, let's go to England for a minute. I don't even know what to say. So a senior Manchester, England police officer has been suspended for exposing her breasts at a high-level women's police conference. Now, just ask yourself why do you think she did that, Meg? I'd love to know what you think she was thinking. Why would she yank the ladies out at a women's conference?
Well,
she wanted to prove she had the best tits.
Oh,
She got
that's
into
not where I was even going. Yeah,
verbal
okay.
confrontation, saying that she had the best boobs, and then proceeded to go and show everybody. Yeah, and
She put her money where her mouth was. Then
she sure did, and she's in big trouble right now. And when confronted by the Daily Mail, here's the quote, and just imagine this with a lofty British accent. I have nothing to say. This is an incredibly stressful time.
I can imagine.
Right?
Did she have the best hits though?
They don't say. I think everybody else had enough to brains to keep them in their shirts. So we may never know.
Oh, that's rough. I'm disappointed by this reporting. But on there, you got to do all the not you, obviously. The Daily Mail. Where's all the follow-ups?
Exactly. I mean, where's the investigative research here? Give me a freaking break. So the jerk shirt. Have you heard of the jerk shirt?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and give everybody a little rundown of the jerk shirt.
Ingenious invention, I suppose. It's a shirt, and first off, there seems to be a large pocket on the inside, cleverly disguised, so you can get your hand in there to be jerking.
Yes.
Unknowns to everyone else. But then you think, oh God, but then you don't have a hand, right? They thought of that. And there's a sleeve with a prosthetic hand that seems to come in a couple different colors, matching all different skin tones.
Nice.
So it looks like you have both hands on the table while you're able to discreetly go to town inside your jerk shirt.
I was most amused at the very reasonable price of $49.99.
Yeah, $50 is totally worth whatever the cost of a ticket for public masturbation is going to turn out to be. Because I don't know how many people you're going to fool with a giant rubber hand attached to your shirt.
Yeah, but how do you know what the other one's really doing?
Oh, it's true.
If you don't have eyes on it, did it really happen?
If a man jerks off in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it count?
If nobody caught it on video, did it?
Right? Did it actually happen?
See? Just saying. Yeah, the jerk shirt. Okay.
I feel like the problem with this is now, like, people are going to go accost actual individuals with real prosthetic limbs because of some sort of tragedy or injury and be like, "You've got one of those jerk shirts, don't you? Prove it."
And see, I took when you started that comment right there, and granted, Megan, that is a valid concern. But when you started out with that, I thought you were going to say assault people with prosthetic hands, meaning taking them off the jerk shirt and hitting people with them. Because how much fun would that be?
That would also be very fun. Yes. It's true. I feel like it'd be better use of your money to just have the prosthetic hand be a fist, and then it's like the stranger or something.
Okay.
Get more excitement.
I'm just saying. I got extremely, extremely amused by the following story, which I like to call hands-free. There's a guy who claims that he can unlock his cell phone using a penis as a fingerprint. So he rigged it up so that's how he does it. And he says just turn your junk upside down and give it a shot. But this guy put this up on a tech site. This is what cracks me up. And Megan, you kind of live in this world a little bit. He's got a handle that he goes by and posts, and they comment, and things like Meatwad 75892. And the writer of the story said, "You're doing God's work." And they tried to reach Samsung to confirm, and they have not actually. They haven't actually responded to them.
Yeah, I probably didn't run any field tests on that, I'm guessing.
No, but here's something funny that was also included in the story. A survey of 1,500 Americans conducted by intrepidtravel.com and a ranger of digital detox tours, 4% of them confessed to texting during sex.
Oh, that's horrible.
Have you ever texted during sex?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because we've been out on more than one occasion and looked down the bar at the other people, and many of whom were couples, and everybody was looking at their devices. Nobody was looking at each other talking. So this doesn't surprise. Actually, I'm surprised the number's not larger.
I've had to take phone calls during sex. That's bad enough.
Well, that's because you could be getting robbed.
Right. When you're on call, there's no, "Pardon me, pressing store question." Like, just give me a minute. Like, oh God, those are the worst. And then those are always the calls with like, blah, blah, blah. I just want to chat. And I'm going to very slowly tell you. There's been a few times where I'm like, "Okay, what is going on? Yes, no, okay, bye." Try to rush them through as soon as possible.
That's your prerogative.
Yeah, they forget sometimes that are probably like doing things when they call us.
When you're like, not at work, but you work like you guys all work just crazy, crazy hours.
Right. It's the joy of management. Managers out there, they know how fun that can be.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a little thankless too sometimes. Hey, are you a Game of Thrones person?
I am.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything, but the last episode made me
Spoiler.
so happy.
Oh.
I'm just going to say it made me so happy.
Oh my God. On so many levels. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody knows the Sansa Stark character, and what a freaking stunning girl. I mean, she is just, and she's not, it's a very just natural, completely awesome beauty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a flashy beauty, you know. It is very natural and understated.
Oh, I'm just a huge fan of her. Her name being Sophie Turner. I found this story and I'm like, okay, yes, it involves a crotch. So of course it was, it was
Good enough.
free
Yeah,
game.
close enough.
But you really need to hear the story because I'm like, is this a thing? Like, am I that old that I don't know that this is now a thing? Megan, please, you're the perfect. I was hoping you'd be here today to answer this for me. So Jennifer Lawrence, we all know who that is. I guess she and Sophie Turner were recently in X-Men Apocalypse. I didn't realize Sophie Turner was in that. So congratulations. Yay. Was she good?
It's not out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we don't know yet.
I'm eagerly anticipating.
But they were both in it. And I guess Jennifer Lawrence punched her in the crotch. And here's what happened. I'm like, why would that happen? And imagine Sophie Turner's elegant accent saying, she punched me in the vagina once, right? She goes, I didn't ask her to either. It just happened. And I guess she and Evan Peters were having a fake fight. And Sophie Turner said something like, I'll cunt punch you. Again, is that a thing? Or I'll punch you in the crotch. And Jen thought that I said, please cunt punch me. So she punched me in the vagina. And I was like, awesome. It was pretty funny. Is this a thing?
No, it's not a thing
Okay.
that I know of that people go around. I mean, there's Rochambeau. It's generally with guys.
Okay.
Thanks to, I think, mostly South Park, where they'll run around and like slap each other in the nuts.
Yes.
That I've heard of.
Yes.
Women crotch punching each other. Is maybe a little new to me, at least.
Well, my thing, first of all, I don't know how I feel about Sophie Turner saying cunt. I'm a little wrecked about that. But then again, in Britain, it's not the same as it is here.
Yes.
They don't have the same stigma over the C word.
And I'm weird because I love the word.
Do you really?
I like using cunt.
Okay.
I did the vagina monologues a couple of years, and I had to do the one called Reclaiming Cunt. So ever since then,
You're kidding me.
I've been a fan. Yeah.
Really?
I had to fake an orgasm on stage. It was pretty exciting.
That's cool. How'd you do?
Great.
Nice.
Yeah. They both times I did it was very well received. I got standing ovation for the cunt one with my orgasm yells.
What venue?
I did them at Morehead State. I went to college up there, and I was a theater minor, so I did them through college. Yep.
Sweet. That's very cool. That is very, very cool.
We actually got in trouble. We didn't realize. So there's a part in the play where everyone will say, my vagina smells like my vagina would say, blah, blah, blah. And there's actually answers that you're supposed to give, but we didn't realize that. We're like, well, it's the vagina. Why can't we personalize it? So that's actually where
because that's something that would cross everybody's mind. Right. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I got the biggest applause, I think, probably with those two. And I was like, if my vagina could speak, she wouldn't say anything because she knows it's rude to talk with her mouth full. That my vagina would smell like freshly baked bread. A little yeasty, but delicious.
Well, I'm really glad you didn't say rye. Oh my God. Okay, that's fabulous. Well, good for you. That's pretty ballsy to do vagina monologues. Okay, I'm really weird there. So, have you been seeing the stories on TV about the airport security crap? It's really been going badly. In fact, in New York and I believe also New Jersey, which they're basically the same thing, Newark and JFK airports, they're threatening to, oust the TSA and bring in private security because the lines have just been so long. And those are such freakish hubs, as you know. It's just been a problem. And, here at Minneapolis, St. Paul, they've changed it to two. The two big giant, which I don't get it, but okay. So this one is the best thing ever. And why I particularly am fond of this story is I tried to pull this on somebody and I was thwarted. So the fact that these guys got away with it, I'm so happy. So this poor guy was sort of iffy about one of those people that doesn't love to fly, a little nervous, whatever. And he was heading to his bachelor party in New Orleans, and his buddies spiked his carry-on with a big dildo. Oh. And he got, there's a whole video of him getting tagged at security and then pulling out the big giant, dong, basically. And I guess the agent really had a sense of humor about it. And the author of the report wants to hope that this guy put the dildo back in its full upright position. But I'm just saying, they did not show any discipline, and they took the easy shot. So, all right, that I believe, I'm looking here, does conclude the news for today. We are brought to you today by Audible. Megan, tell everybody how great Audible is.
Audible is super great. I know they have thousands of titles, and you can download books, listen to them anytime, any device. Very handy program.
Okay. Audible.com/social. And the reason you want to go to audible.com/social is to get a free audiobook. And that's worth about $15. We love them. Lots of fantasy gifts people. I and others are members or whatever customers you want to say. So please join them and check it out. It's a great service.
Can I use the free trial?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm probably the only person in the office who does not have Audible, which is I didn't have much to expect. I hear great things, but yeah, maybe I should use the
you can get some free,
download.
You can get some zombie erotica or whatever turns your twisted little crank over there.
Oh yeah, zombie erotica.
You like that?
That's about right. They know in the warehouse or the DVD room whenever we get really weird stuff, they always send. They're like, we got another weird horror porn, Megan. Here you go. You get to watch it. And I'm like, sweet.
Review it. Yep. Staff pick. Sweet. So I was a little disturbed by the following story. This is a kind of a discussion point here for the Fantasy Gifts Great Northern Sex Guest crew. Megan, this was Shape magazine. Okay, so this is kind of a serious thing. The number one death threat for young women right now in the world is STDs. And
that is very surprising.
It's not good. And I'll give you guys some of the stats from this, and please check out the magazine too, because this is the next few stories we're going to cover do come from, believe it or not, totally reputable sources. Not saying
sorry, Daily Mail.
Yeah, Daily Mail, HuffPost. You know my hangouts, Megan. You see the links I send you. I go slumming. I go news slumming. What can I say? So yeah. This is unsafe sex has become the number one risk factor for death and illness for young women, and this is a worldwide figure. So granted, it's going to be more protracted in other countries where we don't have as much access to everything from condoms to medical care. But still, this is kind of eye-opening. And they are saying that we are in the middle of an STD epidemic. They believe that they actually studied a bunch of young adults aged 10 to 24 over a period of 23 years. And they were looking at the major causes of death and poor health. And STDs weren't even in the top 10 at the beginning of the study. By the end, they ranked number 1 for women 15 to 24 and number 2 for young men in the same category. So just let that sink in for just a second. That's pretty freaky. And they're saying that, this is unacceptable for several reasons because we've got more resources than we've ever had. But here's one possible very large contributing factor. More than half of the men have never had an STD test. It's a trend. The guys don't go and get tested. So that's a large, part of the problem. And they're also talking about the fact that people think, oh, well, whatever I may get, there's antibiotics. Mm-hmm. But the two things that the World Health Organization wants you to know, they consider antibiotic resistance a global threat as well.
Right.
And super gonorrhea is also spreading. Do you know what that is? Have you heard it?
Does it have a cape?
No, it just kills you because it is resistant to the traditional treatments of gonorrhea treatments, which we thought was like, okay, it used to be a death sentence, but now, whatever. So this is a sobering article. And if you're a parent or anybody, just take a look at this. And if you've sort of relaxed your attitudes in any way about sex and protection and things of that nature, please, by all means, reconsider.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it goes back to what we always say too about how important education is.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if the 10 to 24-year-olds were getting comprehensive sex education in school that covers STDs and protection, how to keep yourself safe if it would be rising so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember, I think it was last week that we talked about someone that had escaped North Korea for South Korea. Mm-hmm. And they were arrested for basically even thinking about sex in North Korea or watching porn is the same thing as being, an enemy of the state in North Korea. But this gal that escaped to South Korea said South Korea has sex education. They show you how to put condoms on and everything else. I mean, that's a perfect example of pockets of the world. And, we could talk for hours. And I kind of wish this is where I miss Colleen quite a bit because she's so good at this stuff. But, there's so many countries where the culture won't allow women to be exposed to anything that can even help them. You know what I mean? And so it's just shape.com. You can find the article there. Now let's go on a happy note, shall we?
Sounds good.
Time Magazine does the Person of the Year, right? And who doesn't love Time Magazine, right? Well, they've now started doing something for non-humans, and it's the history of gadgets. And the magic wand, which formerly known as the Hitachi magic wand, is the number one. I mean, well, not number one. It made the list. Let me look. Let me verify.
Top 10. I know
top
that.
10. Excuse me. It was top 10. You were right.
Yes.
Of it made the top 10 of the 50 most influential gadgets of all time. Wow.
Agreed. Good job, Time. I second that. It's crazy how. I mean, I think there's two things that really revolutionized kind of not first the industry and then the acceptance of the industry. And I think that was the Hitachi magic wand. And the rabbit, especially as made famous by Sex and the City.
Yep.
I think those two things really changed the landscape. And especially with Hitachi, it was when, if you look before the Hitachi and the further back you go, the more terrifying the sex toys look.
Oh, God. We've posted this stuff, haven't we, before on the page?
We have. I mean, until you get to like ancient times when they're beautiful jade dildos.
Yeah.
And then, but as soon as you start getting mechanical things involved, they get real scary for a long time.
Yeah, they're kind of frank and freaky.
Yeah, it's like that is a torture device, not a sex toy. I don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
Like the polar cub and all those, oh my God. Or like the craziest hair dryers you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I think like the ingenuity of the Hitachi and like the actual appealing, non-threatening shape and the idea that it is still the strongest thing on the market 30 some years later. Like it's still, I would say, the strongest thing we carry.
So, Sex and the City, as you said, made the rabbit famous, but they do have an episode with a Hitachi magic wand. Did you see that one too?
No.
Oh
no.
God. It's involving Samantha, and basically the setup for it is so funny the way that they do it, because she goes into what it's basically a disguised Brookstone type of a store.
Sure.
Saying that this vibrator doesn't work. And then she gets into it with this uptight clerk who's like, it's not a vibrator, it's a neck massager, whatever. And so he finally lets her, says, go exchange it. And she's talking to a group of women. And and she's advising them. And she's like, that one will tear your clit off. And right in the middle of this sort of Brookstone-esque, and this guy is just like having a meltdown. It's a classic Sex.
Sure. Oh, she's on like Sharper Image. Like this one's good. That one, not so much.
And then one, really? This one's harsh. And she's like through ski pants. I mean, it's just funny. So anyway, the Hitachi magic wand, we congratulate it. And Meg, I just wanted to get you, I mean, you haven't, I know you're not that young, but you are young. And I just was wondering, what have you even noticed from like, say, your high school until now? Because you've definitely hit a couple phases with technology or anything else that's changed that you think has evolved for good or bad.
Yeah.
Besides people.
Right.
Both ways.
Well, it's funny, specifically with going back to that magic wand, they had, it's still the same motor as it has been for decades. Now, however, they finally came out with a rechargeable version with some pulsation patterns.
Really?
So like that would be an example of like, wow, you took like the best toy and then upped it. You made it rechargeable and it's still just as strong. So, stuff like that. I get a little sometimes when you get too much of the technology, like I worry with a lot of the stuff we have with like the apps and Bluetooth controlled. And I just feel like I don't I wouldn't want masturbation or using a sex toy to be that complicated.
Okay.
I guess. Like if I got to stop and bust out a manual to figure out how to make it work, that's starting. I think there was a peak and it's starting to go down a bit where people are realizing like we had this company where we had 10 different vibrators and every single one had a different way to control it. Like the on and off and up and down and all the settings were different and none of it was user friendly at all.
Okay.
And they finally came out now with a new line where they all have the same controls. And it's like, yeah, because you try to get it to look so, ooh, this is so fancy and tech savvy that suddenly you're fumbling around trying to get it to work when you just want to. I don't want it to get it to work. I want to get off.
Right.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's a mood killer.
Mm-hmm. It
right?
Really is.
Yeah,
like, let me call Geek Squad. Hold on, baby.
Yeah, hey, I'm trying I got this thing, right? Oh my God. I mean, can you imagine getting somebody in India for that? Trying to explain that.
Right over the phone is not good.
Wait, no, first you don't even get to the person in India without an hour of the phone tree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wait, I only got one hand here because the other one, what?
Right.
What? Oh, shit. Press what?
Yeah.
No.
And this hold music is not lighting my fire.
God. Well, Megan, you have been an admirable foil today. Colleen, we want you to feel better. How's Michael doing?
He's doing good. He just has, he's got a lot of interviews. So he's busy with that. Unfortunately, one of the stores that he's taking over for me, I tried to get it all set up and ready to go, but then I had some people not work out at the last minute. So he's got a lot of positions to hire for, so he's gonna be busy with that.
Scrambling to staff.
Mm-hmm. Tuesdays and Thursdays are interview days usually. So
okay, yeah. How have the candidates been lately?
I thought I had some great ones, but you never know. I haven't gotten anything too crazy. Just the I got an application the other day, and there's a part where it says, what qualifications do you have? And someone wrote something about how, like, my mom thinks I'm attractive.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a job qualification. Like, we get some doozies sometimes. Like, I'm a big whore. Like, well, cool, but you're not doing that at work, so it doesn't necessarily help.
Yeah.
We're not paying you for that.
Oh my God.
So good luck to him. He's got some stuff to weed through, I'm sure.
Oh my God. Well, good luck to Michael. I know he's been very, very busy. And with his health issues, he's on a good run. Colleen, we love you. We miss you. We hope you feel better. And we'll be back again next week with more absolutely demented stuff.